All right. So, good evening, everybody. Uh, Mostly myself. Um, put that up there. All right. Well, so today was kind of a funky day for the market. As you can see, let's go ahead and get this thing full screen for you guys. So we're looking at the ES here. And as you can see, I got my levels on here. For now, we're going to take off all of our levels. Get rid of any wonky stuff on here. Let me just kind of look at the big picture here. So after making new lows, kind of creating a balance area, we came out of that balance with a gap. Uh, and then we consolidated yesterday for a good little bit. And yesterday in my video, I talked about how it was a possibility that if we didn't find acceptance over the 3,800 level, uh, that it was a good possibility we would trade at this 11th wide POC and in yesterday's range. And if not, uh, we would rotate lower and attempt to fill this gap here. So let's get our destinations put back up so you guys can see a little bit better. But right here, as you can see, we opened up below yesterday's value area and 11 wide POC. We attempted to push down lower as shorts were getting out, weak shorts that are, excuse me, weak longs. Longs were getting out. And initially, the first part of the day looked like it could have been a B shape for long liquidation because in A period, we pushed down, B period, we pushed down initially, potentially had a highest accepted price, give or take a few points, but that turned out to be kaput because after the C period, took out the IB low, we'd never seen it again, and we rotated back up towards the highs. Getting to that 11 wide POC that I discussed trading at, we traded there for about an hour and then eventually popped up running some stops and getting above those two high days from the 4th and September 22nd. But yeah, kind of worked out the way I was expecting it to. Kind of traded exactly how I expected. I was kind of wanting to see us get a little bit more into the gap, but there was not enough supply for any shorts to push this thing lower, as we obviously have a lot of trap shorts down here that are wanting to get out. So kind of doing exactly what I was expecting. The daily is back into balance. Like I said yesterday, we take out previous day's low. We'll put the daily back into balance. And then believe it or not, we had a reversal bar on the daily. But we're still gonna call it balance because we took out the previous day's low and high. Um, Taking out both sides of the IB, which in my opinion doesn't have as much meaning to it as it used to. Um, from what I know, Jim Dalton doesn't believe in it either. So taking out the initial balance highs and lows, some to an extent can give you a little bit better MGI of like what's going to be happening on the daily, but we've taken it out so many times on both sides. It doesn't, it has no major meaning behind it anymore. There's uh, no real support for it. So because obviously today we took out the low, didn't go trend, even though we had single prints in B period here. We had single prints in this area, but never went and continued the trend to fill the gap. At that point, would have been comfortable going long. I think it would have been healthy for us to pull back, fill that gap, get that price filled in, and then rotate back up towards the 11 wide POC, and then maybe test the highs. Was not expecting this pop up as I was. I did only take like two trades today. Uh, One was a long and then one was a short. Long was somewhere in, no, actually, where was the long? Where did I take the long? I don't remember where I took a long. I took a long somewhere. Oh, I took it in the pre-market session and got out for like a point. It wasn't nothing crazy. And then I took a short, I believe in J period that I got paid on and was holding some and, put a stop above the day's high because I was like, maybe we'll rotate back down and get to G's low, get to AB, and then get 5 wide down here. Try to get POC moved from down here to up here, where change took place at A's high, and G's low. But that did not happen, as obviously we pulled back, didn't quite get there, and then just continued to push higher, eventually popping out of this little consolidation around the 11 wide POC, bursting above that 3,800 level in L period. But M kind of took it all back, neglected it as longs were looking to get out. Daily is in a balance, so we're going to put in our levels here. Daily's now in a balance. We'll get rid of this 11 wide POC, means nothing as we have hit it. The gap now starts at 37.34, so we'll go ahead and put this down here at 37.34. 37.34. Lower day for the 5th. That's where the gap now starts. So we got into it a little bit, not a lot. There's still a healthy amount, over 20 points worth of gap still there to go and fill. And I would not be surprised if maybe that becomes a downside destination for us later. I do believe there's a good possibility for us to go and test the 20-day moving average, which is above. If we haven't already tested it, actually, I'll have to look and see. I think we may have already tested it. High of day, 38.20. That would be the top of our balance zone, 38.20. 10. Can't type. So today's high and today's low will be our balance area. Now tomorrow, if we come in and we take out today's high, then we will look to rotate, call the daily up, hit this price probe, and then get to the 12 wide POC from the 21st, which is a good possibility as the bulls held and obviously short covering came into play once we got into the gap below yesterday's low. And you can kind of tell that was what was going to occur once B pushed down, C didn't get much extension, D never even got below C's low, came into the single prints, and you kind of just had a feeling that we would go and fill the single prints. And then that was just a massive move right there. Massive move in F period. G, H, I, J. I'm not gonna call J an afternoon pullback low. Just too late in the time or in the day for me to call an afternoon pullback low. We didn't really have any single prints to the upside, so I'm just gonna call it pure balance. The day's high, the day's low, and we'll see what happens. But if we take out tomorrow's high, we rotate higher to the price probe to the 12th, 12 wide POC from the 22nd or the 21st, and then to the high day. And maybe we'll put in our series of higher or lower high, and I'll show you that on the daily here in a second. But look at all these destinations. Crazy, crazy world, crazy world. Let's look over here at the daily. And yes, I know there's a lot of moving averages, but what can you do? In the world that we live in, you gotta have moving averages. I got all types of moving averages. It looks like we fell just short of that 20-day moving average at 38.32. So maybe tomorrow we take out the high, go and test that and get above. And from that point, you have the 40-day moving average overhead up here at 39.80. 39.80, which I think coincides with, let's check the monthly here. Not quite. Not quite. Let's try to see where that monthly high was from last month. Still got a good ways for that, but the monthly is down. The weekly is balance. Ooh. 39, 32. I'm gonna call this a 3-week balance. We'll call it a 3-week balance since we've gotten into this week's pretty good. And then the daily is obviously balance. Tomorrow we may get out of balance and one time frame up. Let's see what it looks like on the SPY. ES is kind of confusing from time to time. Why is it saying yesterday's low was way down here? That makes. All right, something's funky here. TD Ameritrade's got something messed up. I'm not liking it. Doesn't look right. Because obviously we had the gap down here. So not quite sure. But yeah, that's pretty much the game plan. Folks, that's pretty much the game plan. Oop. Didn't want to do all that. But as far as destinations, upside, today's high, 38.20, 38.32.75, price probe, that 12 wide. I keep talking about. I do believe it will get there if we come out of the balance to the upside. Downside destinations, I do believe we'll come rotate back down 37.34. Fill the gap at 37.11.75, and then the single print fill, really tiny single print. Not even gonna count where it starts, because it's really only like 2 ticks worth of single prints. But 38 or 36.82 single print fill, and then the single prints below that. So, couple short positions, as you can see, of trap shorts that are holding us up and helping this thing rotate higher. On the daily, you can kind of see we got progression of lower high, lower high, lower high. And maybe, just maybe, this becomes a lower high here. Because we've had a series of lower low. We'll call lower low and lower low. So maybe this will be our lower high, or along this area up here where we might run into the 40 could be our next series of lower high and keep this thing rotating lower. Unless some huge economic data comes out, I don't expect us to just flush. I think this is going to be a pretty slow grind down, as this is my first time in a bear market, or really any experience in the markets at all, as I've only just begun my journey. So if I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, it's only because I'm 3 years in. Well, other than that, that's all I got to say. I hope, hopefully we can learn from this day, as shorts can really cause a market to rally. And don't ever hesitate to go along with the momentum to the upside, because clearly buying down here was the move. I really wish my my trading system Rhythmic, I wish Rhythmic would have been up for me, because I was trying to get in. I got home from work around 10:30 and I wanted to get long right after we filled the single prints. I wanted to get long so bad, because I just had a feeling that if we didn't want to fill this gap down here and we filled the single prints, we didn't want to hold trend, that this bad boy was going to rip up to that 11 wide POG and we would trade there. And that would have been where I got out too. I would have gladly, happily taken a 5 lot and let this thing rotate up. I would have gotten out of course, maybe one at B's high, and then another one at A's high, and then see what we do once we got up towards that 11 wide POC. I might have taken one off near value low from previous day, but opportunity was there to buy. Opportunity was there to buy as shorts covered and momentum buyers stepped in. that'll be it. I hope everyone has a good day. To my future self, I hope we do better, capture some of this day.